Hello again to all Edge listeners. This is Correspondent Stuart Harrison again, reporting on Phase 2 of my trips into London. This trip this time though started off with my going up to Wales and spending a long weekend with UK director Andy Radford and his family. I just want to thank Andy and his wife Janet for their hospitality and making me feel very welcome. Their son for letting me join in with his PC games where we hunted down alien scum wherever we could find them, and their daughter for her letting me take up her space in front of the cosy log fire. I was very impressed with both Janet and Andy regarding the depth of their knowledge, attention to detail, and their obvious commitment to very important issues, and not just the Monsanto chemical plant, which is right on their doorstep. Janet is a very impressive and educated woman, so much so in fact that local councillors regularly come to her for help, and I couldn't help but think they would be lost without her. Thanks again, Andy and Janet. Anyway, on with my second trip into London. The London Eye is the Eye of Horus. I spent that morning going over the street map of Westminster and Buckingham Palace. Many people know about the esoteric symbolism in places like Washington DC, but I have not heard much said regarding London. I know Mr. David Icke has covered some things, but as I have never read his books, and have only watched his Secrets of the Matrix and his Interview with a Mother Goddess, both of which are superb I might add, I don't know if he has already spoken of these things. Listeners can, if they choose, follow and see for themselves the things I will talk about next. Just in case anyone can't see the Edge TV and Andy's work for some reason, go to the Google search engine and type in the search line Westminster Map. That's Westminster Map. I'll give everyone a moment to find the Google map of Westminster so we can all start together. Whilst on that new Google page, go to the top left of the screen and click on Maps, or you can simply click on the map that comes up on the first search result line. In front of you, you will see a street map of the heart of London. From here, all we have to do is find Mayfair near the middle, next to where it says London. Place the cursor on Mayfair and right-click on it. Now in the small window that has just opened, use the Center Map Here facility at the bottom of the list. When centered, we can zoom in for a couple of clicks by using the vertical bar to the left of the map, or you can, if you have a wheel mouse, simply roll the wheel forward to zoom in and out. Mayfair will disappear and Hyde Park Corner will replace it. At the top left we have Lancaster Gate, where the tale of the Serpentine begins. As we can see, the Serpentine even has an eye. You may have to zoom in again to see it. Now if we pan right slightly and centre the map on St. James's Park and zoom in one more click, we can clearly see two more water features. I'm not sure about the lower left one. It could be a charging bull, but in these situations it is often easy to see things that are not really there. We must always be careful about our current mindset so we do not exaggerate things. The upper right one though, as anyone can see, is an obvious serpent again. Only this time its mouth is wide open, as if striking or about to swallow its prey. I will come back to this in a moment. I will make mention here of Mr. Mohammed Al-Fayed's recent court statement during the Diana Tribunal regarding the royals. They're not even human, they're crocodiles. As expected, his evidence was ignored on the grounds of it being without substance. The lower left area, as many know, is where Buckingham Palace is situated, and it runs the length of Constitution Hill right down to that bull-like water feature. The The front of Buckingham Palace faces the northeast, and the street called the Mall. Now focus on the St. James's Park area. Straight out from the courtyard of the palace, we have the Trident of Poseidon, or the Devil's Fork. Then we have Birdcage Walk forming an unnecessary triangle. These two symbols, as we can clearly see here, are joined together with a circle, which, as many know, is the symbol for the sun god, and the Eye of Horus, or Lucifer, at the top of the pyramid. This is seen even clearer when we use the terrain feature top right of the map instead of the map feature one. Even the flagpoles around this area are shaped into an upside down pyramids, as seen on the Edge TV. From this merging of the symbols point, we have the start of the tail of the second serpent. As you can see on the map, there is a small break in the water. This is a footbridge, and in the centre of that bridge we have this emblem. A 5-pointed star design with the words Princess Diana Memorial Walk. The location of this emblem is of significance also. Just look at where it is on the map. The belly of the serpent. Some may think that I am stretching things, but I believe this to be an esoteric confirmation of just how the royals literally swallowed her up. Now we move on and up to the head of that serpent with its open mouth. This is a fascinating place indeed. In the mouth of the serpent we have this ancient cottage. As you can see in the picture, it looks like something from a fairy tale, like the Wicked Witch of the West won't live in. My brother-in-law was in the Queen's Household Cavalry for 22 years, serving as a musician for the elites, state functions, etc. He has told me that this is the very cottage that the Duke of Wellington lived in back in the days when all the land around the palace was woodland. The Duke of Wellington was of Irish Protestant aristocracy, descended from the elite of the conquering Normans back in 1066. So he was, as some may say, a blue bloodliner. As can be seen in the pictures, the area is kept overgrown so that the centre of the island cannot be seen. However, if we use the feature at the top right of the map again, labelled Satellite, we can zoom in on this island and see that there is a small grey building amongst the trees. Interestingly, from the central bridge, right next to the Diana Memorial Walk emblem, we can see this large pipe under the water. It leads right back to the palace and ends up being visible back on the island just to the left of that grey building. Finding an obvious function for that large piping eludes me. Only the non-obvious possibilities come to mind, like possibly out-of-sight transportation for something. As I was sitting outside the cottage and pondering its possible significances, I took this picture of the black swans around the cottage. If anyone has watched David Icke's interview with Arizona Wilder called Interview with a Mother Goddess, they will have heard her talk about the occultic significance of black swans. Diana's brother, it is said, had a dream of black swans and placed 4 metal models of them upon the island where Diana is buried. As I was sat there, an Interlink delivery van pulled up and unlocked the private entrance to the cottage. I asked the driver, "Who lives there?" And he replied, "No one really, it's just a storage place for paperwork and a chocolate box, whatever that means." Anyway, I felt a very strong presence of evil there, like it was some kind of dark focal point. Another thing that occurred here was that I became very aware that I was being watched. Some Christian types refer to it as a spiritual quickening. I was being followed and watched by at least one government spy. As he drew closer, I looked at him and smiled. All the while he stared at me with these strange, very cold, and almost silvery eyes.